Okay, I would like to welcome everybody for jumping on tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to come on and hear this information. I would just like to start by introducing myself. My name is Jess Harvey. I am a Pro 3 with LifeVantage, and my journey started approximately 2.5 years ago. I had been battling depression for about 6 years prior to my good friend Mel reaching out to me and asking me to just simply listen to a presentation. She had some information for me that she thought would benefit my situation. And, I, at that point in time, really had nothing else to lose. So I went and I listened. I have to be honest, at first, I was a little bit of a skeptic hearing the information. It is a lot to take in and it's very scientific, but after giving it a little more research, I definitely became intrigued. And like I said before, I was at a point where I had nothing to lose. So my journey with this started, like I said, just about 2.5 years ago. And in that time, I can honestly say that my entire life has shifted. My depression is at a point now where I am managing it healthy. My mind is healthy. I have done a whole lot of personal growth. I know that people seen changes in me within approximately 4 to 5 weeks. They were seeing my mood was changing. My sleep was probably one of the first things that was affected. I definitely noticed I could lay down at night and I would fall asleep without any struggle. My mind was shutting off and I was able to rest comfortably, and I would wake in the morning feeling like I had slept very well. And then I would, I'd have like a sort of energy about me all day long. It's tough to explain until you actually experience it, but I can just say that I was feeling much like I did years ago. I had that renewed energy. I had the energy at the end of the day to hang out with my kids and go out and do sports. So that is what continued the interest that I had in taking this. And after that, even just realizing the healthy benefits this had for my life. I have a terrible family history of cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, you name it. And so just learning about what this can do to protect me and my cells from that horrible DNA that I have going through my body, knowing I can upregulate my good genes and turn down those bad genes, was enough to, keep me researching it. And here I am almost 3 years later. I've decided to join the company because I wanted to tell everybody in my life and everybody that I met what this could do for their health. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. As you can see, the title tonight is Biohack Your Body. Oh, and now there we go. So when we talk about biohacking, this term simply just means that we are able to hack into our biology to optimize its potential. Right now, what is currently happening in your body at this time is we are being hijacked by oxidative stress. Your genes are currently manifesting either health or your genes are manifesting disease, whereas your body is not in a state of ease and not healing. So it's one or the other. What we want to do is put our body in a place of healing, both mentally and physically, and we now have the ability to do that. We just need to understand the process. You see, everything you put into your body has the ability to affect the outcome. If you understand the science and strategy, you will see why it is so important to integrate this into your life. The process is called nutrigenomics. This is actually a branch of nutritional genomics, and it's the study of the effects of food and nutrition on gene expression. It's an understanding of how a combination of natural foods and herbs can turn on key switches in your body to either manifest health or allow your body to express dysfunction. This will eventually turn into disease. And this is actually being looked at in every branch of medicine that you can consider, from cancer treatments to athletic performance to brain health. The personal health market is a $600 billion industry because it's centered around prevention and treatment of disease, where you no longer are needing to supplement your body and instead you can activate it in a way that can truly change the way your genes can be expressed. Now I'm going to start an ABC Primetime Investigative Report. This is sort of where our company all began, and this is a great place for you to start understanding what it is we have our hands on.
The following is an ABC Primetime Investigative Report that aired in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life.
It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress. We all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
And it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway, but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me? But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%. That's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses. It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks, even mental disease. Yes, depression, Alzheimer's disease, depression. But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old to find out that I should have taken it. The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety.
Protandim NRF. The following is an...
Okay, so an ABC primetime investigative report does not usually end up with a positive outcome. For those of us here in Canada, that would be comparable to like our W5 reports, where they go into companies to try and discredit them to see if what they're saying is actually true. So as you can imagine, once this aired, showing that in fact this scientist had actually discovered this enzyme or this pathway in the body that can release antioxidants to reduce free radical damage, reducing oxidative stress. After hearing John Quinones's oxidative stress levels were reduced by 45% in just 2 weeks, people, just based on pure speculation because of what they had just seen, wanted this in their bodies. And sales were coming in the millions. There was over $5 million in sales overnight. The stock rose from $1 to $20, but the problem was this was a very small biotech company, and the researcher and scientist just didn't have the infrastructure in place to fulfill these orders. So from there, they tried different forms of marketing. They wanted to see what would be the most effective. At the time, it was being sold in general nutrition stores, holistic centers, and natural health food stores. But it was labeled as a supplement that could reduce free radical damage, and nobody knew what that meant. It was priced at $49.99 and was placed next to bottles of vitamin C that were priced at $9.99. They hired a marketing director who then asked Dr. McCord if he would ever consider a direct sales business model. But he was not interested in that. So they decided to go head to head for a year. They kept the bottles on the store shelves and they did the person-to-person business model. And after 1 year, direct sales outsold the storefront model by 300%. So in 2009, they took the product off store shelves and LifeVantage was born. And that is actually what brought us here today. After all of this happened, researchers and doctors from all over the world became interested in studying our products because they had seen this report and they already knew the harmful effects that oxidative stress had on the body. So if this product actually did what it said it did and reduces oxidative stress, they wanted to study this against diseases. So you will see on this screen some prestigious universities that have studied our products against different diseases. You can see the American Heart Association, University of Colorado, University of Florida, Harvard, Texas Tech, Ohio State. Even pharmaceutical companies have started conducting studies on the NRF2 pathway in which Protandim works. So if you were to go to pubmed.gov, which is the National Library of Medicine, this is where studies are published. This is where doctors and researchers actually go for the information that they use for their own practices. If you were to go there and type in Protandim, that's our flagship product, you would find 27 peer-reviewed studies. This is significant because there is no other plant-based product in the world as a whole that you can type into PubMed and find peer-reviewed studies on. You would be able to find individual ingredients, but not a product as a whole. So now I'm going to turn this over to Mel, unmute her, and she's going to take over explaining oxidative stress and the damage that that can have in our body.
All right. Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me? Okay. Okay, so what is oxidative stress? So oxidative stress is basically rusting from the inside out. Our cells are oxidizing, they're breaking down. So if you look at this apple on the screen that you see here, it's starting to turn brown. Why is that? Well, it's oxidizing, it's breaking down, right, from free radical damage. So the same things are happening within our cells in our body. And so what causes this to happen? Well, simply everything we do potentially causes free radical damage leading to oxidative stress, from the air that we're breathing in, our EMFs from our cell phones, water that we're drinking if it's not clean, very clean, purified water, exercise, pollution, stuff we're putting on our skin if it's not a very clean product. This all leads to oxidative stress and free radical damage. So why should we care, right? Well, think about it. We're talking about our cells breaking down. Well, our cells make up our bodies, and our bodies make up our systems, right? Like our cells make up, sorry, I'm getting all flustered here. So we're made up of trillions and trillions of cells, right? And our cells make up our systems, and our systems make up our organs. And when one area becomes too overloaded with cellular stress and oxidative stress, it could look like a heart attack, or it could look like skin cancer, or it could look like kidney disease, or arthritis. The lungs are very susceptible to oxidative stress. Same with the brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ADHD, autism, cancers, autoimmune diseases, MS, and diabetes. These are all directly related back to oxidative stress. Just need that next slide. All right, so what are the solutions to reducing free radicals and oxidative stress? So we've always been told that antioxidants can neutralize free radicals. So we always know to eat a high antioxidant diet. But what you may not know that is antioxidants work at a 1-to-1 ratio when you take them in. So what that means is, let's say you eat a serving of blueberries. You're probably going to neutralize 4,000 to 5,000 free radicals, which might sound pretty good actually, until I were to tell you that we have about 13 sextillion free radicals bombarding our body at any one time. So the notion to think that we're going to be able to put that fire out of free radicals in our bodies by just consuming our antioxidants with food is like throwing a Dixie cup of water on a house fire. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here telling you that you don't need to eat a colorful diet of good whole foods. We absolutely still need this in our diets. We need that for good, clean energy for our bodies, and we need it for the vitamins and the nutrients. I'm just saying we just physically cannot take that many antioxidants in to put that fire out of free radicals. So what we've come to find out is with science and research, we can turn on our body's own enzymes to produce our own antioxidants. And we can do that at a rate of 1 million to 1. So meaning we can neutralize 1 million free radicals per second, every second in the body. And we do that through the study of using nutrigenomics, using natural compounds, and activating our NRF2 pathway. So just talked a little bit about that in the beginning. And so what NRF2 is, a protein messenger. It's in every single cell of our body. It's kind of been called, let's say, the guardian of the cell, and tells the cell what it needs to kick out to keep the body in balance. So when we're young, this NRF2 protein is doing a very good job of telling the cells, of kicking out antioxidant enzymes, anti-inflammatory enzymes, anti-fibrotic enzymes. These are your survival genes. And as we age, this NRF2 protein, it starts to peter out and it starts to stop communicating as well as it did when we were a child. And so what happens is the body starts to become out of balance and we get overloaded with oxidative stress. So we can now wake this process up through NRF2 activation. So I just need my next slide. All right, and so how we wake up this NRF2 pathway in our body is we take Protandim. That's what we've seen in that ABC Primetime report that you just watched. So Protandim is made up of 5 different herbs. And what it does is it wakes up that NRF2 pathway. It upregulates our survival genes. So it upregulates our good genes and it downregulates our bad genes. And it is the only natural supplement, I don't like that word, but it's actually an activator that is proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in the first 30 days in all humans. That is proven in a clinical study. It's also was studied for 10 years by the National Institute of Aging, proving that it is the only natural supplement that is proven to extend life. So that's a pretty big deal. That's why I take this. Why do we take supplements and vitamins? Because we want to live longer and we want to feel better. Well, when I heard that, that was hands down enough for me just to take this product for the rest of my life. So just a few stamps of approval. At the bottom, you'll see there is the NSF. So basically, that's a stamp of approval that what you read on the back of Protandim, all the ingredients, is exactly what you're ingesting. There's no additives, there's no fillers. So it's just a very clean product. There also is the BSCG, so that stands for the Banned Substance Control Group. This is basically a stamp of approval for our athletes and Olympians to say that if they're taking Protandim, this won't show up in their blood that they're doping, and it's not an enhancement. All right, so we talked about the NRF2 pathway. So if there is an NRF2 protein pathway in the body, there obviously is an NRF1. Now, this is a very important protein as well in our cell. And what it is responsible for is to repair and upregulate our mitochondria of our cell. So our mitochondria, you need to think of it as little engines in the cell. And they're very, very important because not only do they give us energy because they're our little engines, they also help to protect the DNA of our cells, which is very, very important. We want to protect our DNA because we don't want it to become mutated. It also helps to help our mitochondria to help our cells network better with each other, so communicate better with each other. So if there is a cell that is becoming dysfunctional, mutated, you want that cell to die off. So you don't want it to multiply. Because we know when a cell becomes mutated and multiplies, it's not a good scene. We don't want that. So what we do is we activate our NRF1 pathway to upregulate and repair our mitochondria. And so things that you will notice when you have good functioning mitochondria is obviously increased cellular energy. So you're going to feel more energized. At least I do, personally. You're going to have better sleep. Like I said, you're going to be able to protect the DNA of the cell. And just like I said, and the ability for them to, your cells to communicate better with each other. All right, so this is another system that needs a lot of healing, and it is our gut. Our gut needs to be healthy for many, many different reasons, but I'm just gonna tell you a few reasons why it's really, really important to make sure you have a healthy gut. So I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but this was news to me when I found this out, that 70% of our immune system resides in our gut. Also, a lot of research is coming out now, and they're saying that our gut is our second brain. The reason why they're saying this is we release a lot of neurotransmitters within our gut. And so if you don't have a healthy gut, chances are you're not going to have a healthy brain. So those are two, just without getting into too much of, because I could go on and on about why a healthy gut is important, but these are just some big ones for me. So very, very critical that you make sure you have a good, high quality probiotic. And so why I like our probiotic and why I think it stands alone than what you'll find out there on store shelves is we have a BioTrack delivery system, patented delivery system. So what that means is we can get 60% of the CFUs, which is the good bacteria, through the stomach acid into the lower gut where it needs to deposit and flourish. Whereas where you'll find on store shelves, maybe about 4 to 6% can make it through the stomach acid and into the lower gut because they don't have that patented delivery system. Another reason why I really like this probiotic that I'm showing you tonight is because it has also a patented blend called Wellmune. And so Wellmune obviously is there to enhance your immune system. It also helps to create tight junctions within the gut. So when I say tight junctions, all I mean is it helps to keep the cells really, really tight together so that no toxins can release through them and into the bloodstream, because we call that leaky gut. A lot of people suffer from leaky gut. And these are some of the symptoms that you see on the screen here when they have leaky gut. So this is why I really, really like this probiotic for those two standalone qualities they have within it. All right, and this product here that I love, it's one of my favorites. I have at least 1 or 2 a day. It's called Axio. We call this our Smart Energy drink. I like to say it's brain food. It is a satchel with some powder in it, so it's got magnesium, your B vitamins, niacin, monetary pine bark, a whole bunch of other great ingredients. And they cross the blood-brain barrier, and they work on the neurotransmitters to wake them up and get them fiery. And so it's not like an energy drink that you would feel that body energy. It's more working on the brain. It's helping with mental focus and clarity and getting rid of that brain fog. So when I say that it wakes up those neurotransmitters, so when your brain is awake, you naturally feel awake. And so that's why I call it that energy drink. So just to explain this picture that you see on the right-hand side here, this was a picture taken from one of our chiropractors within our company, and his nephew was having some difficulty in school with focus, concentration, and so they decided that they would put him on the NRF2, Protandim, and Axio for a week. And this was his results of his handwriting a week later. I'm not saying that this is curing anything or whatever. I'm just saying it's amazing what the body can do when you can release that stress off the body and wake up those neurotransmitters in the brain and just get things focused and working again like they were designed to do.
Okay, thank you, Mel,
No problem.
for that. I'm just gonna move this out of the way again. Okay, so you've gotten a lot of information tonight on a lot of different things, and I think that probably the most important message of all is that it is a key factor to your health to reduce oxidative stress in your body. And the way to do that is to activate this NRF2 pathway. So in the beginning there, I had talked about some of the studies that were done by universities. This was the conclusion of a study done by Washington State University. And they concluded that NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. So I feel like that kind of speaks for itself. The next one that we have is actually a study that was done on NRF2 against multiple sclerosis. Not against, I should say how NRF2, I guess, could benefit in multiple sclerosis. And what happened was they tested it against a few other vitamins. You'll see BG12, TBHQ, SFN, and Protandim. They tested a few different things to see which one would be the best in a therapeutic or preventative model. And you'll see in the highlighted at the bottom Interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer of NRF2 and therefore may be the most suited as a therapeutic strategy. So what I didn't mention is that this study was actually done by Tecfidera, who is the company that has created the synthetic NRF2 activator that they are using. Sorry, Biogen is the company. Tecfidera is the product that they have created, which is a synthetic NRF2 activator being used in the therapeutic treatment of multiple sclerosis. So they wanted to do a head-to-head study with our product, and I don't think that they ever expected the results to come out the way they did, and they ended up publishing this in their journal, their multiple sclerosis journal, that Protandim was the most suited as a therapeutic strategy. Again, I don't think this is information they really want to have out there, but it certainly goes to show that we are on the right track with we don't treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. But like Mel said, when your body is activated and you are able to reduce the amount of oxidative stress, therefore reducing the inflammation in your body, it's amazing what can happen. So just to finish off, the last study that I want to quote here was one done by Oregon State University. And it states that when it finds a problem, NRF2 essentially goes back to the cellular nucleus and rings the alarm bell, where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification of carcinogens, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and other actions. In their report, the scientists called this a longevity assurance factor. So there is no doubt that what we have our hands on is something that is very important. It's something that is very beneficial to people's health. And it's something we are excited to share with everybody. So with that, I'm going to end the recording and then we will take some questions.
Hey, Jess, can I just add something quick?
Certainly.
That I forgot to add when I was talking about NRF2 and NRF1.
Okay.
I want to explain, usually what I explain is how I said this is like a 1-2 punch. So your NRF2 and NRF1, they just go together like peanut butter and jam. And I want to explain why they're so critical to take together. So your NRF2, like we explained before, protects against oxidative stress, free radical damage. So like that apple, we're going to protect the outside of the cell from breaking down from that oxidative stress, free radical damage. And then with your NRF, did I say NRF2? So
yeah.
NRF2 is going to protect from oxidative stress, the outside of the cell from breaking down and inflammation occurring from that. And then your NRF1 is going to protect the inside of our cell, right? Those engines that work inside of our cell. So we have a complete whole cell structure working at optimal level. And when we have a healthy cells, we have happy cells. So I just forgot to add that into my spiel there, but I wanted to kind of bring that back to explain to people why the two of them are very important to work together. So we have that whole cell structure working at optimal level. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, let me turn this off.